Hello everyone, I am Egemen Taşören and I am studying electric and electronics engineering in Taşören University. So in this video I want to talk about my PIC project, which consists of a game that can be seen in Google's Chrome web browser. I mean, when you are in offline mode and if you are using Chrome browser, you should have seen this game basically, where you just press space to play and just try not to collide with the objects or cactuses or some other dinosaurs. And if you collide with them, the game just ends, like this one. So I kinda wanted to do the same with PIC microcontrollers. So I just started using PIC18F45K22, but it was not enough in terms of ROM capacity. I can say this whole project uses the 98% of the ROM that's available in PIC18F46K22, and this version has 2 times more ROM capacity, and I believe it has 2.5 times more RAM capacity than the 45K version. So I just used this, and they are basically both are the same microcontrollers. They are just different in ROM and RAM capacity, and that's all about it. So you can use both of them and like recreate different versions of this project. But if you want to copy exactly this project, you need 46K or maybe something with a better capacity, because there are things that I couldn't be able to add with this capacity. So to show my project, a little bit of a demonstration that can be simulated with Proteus. And as you can see, there is two LCDs. One is graphic LCD, one is normal LCD. I just wanted to add this because it uses less ports, as you can see here, and the graphic LCD just uses more ports, and I don't have many empty ports. Basically, that was the reason behind the second LCD, and I used all the images at 128 by 64 pixels. So I basically had to use whole GLCD for my project, and to add something to it, I must have used LCD screen, and I did so. So in LCD screen, you can see your score at the last game and your whole best score over the games that the game has been run, basically. So you can press this button to start. Then you will see a screen with easy, medium, and hard difficulty options. So I will select medium on this one. After that, you will see that you can collide with the objects if you are not too careful about them, and you can basically jump over the things. I want to finish this run, but unfortunately I did not. So if you die, actually a screen like this does appear. So I actually have a thing to demonstrate this project better, so there are different endings in this project, and I will be using this technique to demonstrate them, since the completing them are somehow hard on first try. So if you press this button, actually you just win, or it just completely goes to autopilot, and it just jumps through the stage without any problems. So the winning condition is simple in this game. If you have jumped over 4 cactuses or less than 4 cactuses in a random number case, you just get to ending, and if you select hard mode, you just be seeing this one. If you are playing in medium, then that's a different ending you will get, because the hardness somehow affect the ending, I believe. Also, there is a little thing I want to talk about it. There are, and yes, there is ending too. There are multipliers in store, so if you select easy, medium, or hard, your speed will change, game speed will change according to that, and in addition to that, your score multiplier will be higher. So if you jump 4 cactuses in hard mode, you will earn more points compared to a medium game in same length. So let's select easy difficulty and see its ending too, and that will complete my demonstration, and I will talk with the code a little bit. Also, if you want to disable autopilot, you can do it by pressing this again, and after that you have to jump by yourself, and it just works in every second of the game, because these 3 buttons are interrupt buttons, and it really provides a better experience of game, because there are lots of delays in this project, and if you get hit by one of those, even if you press one of those numbers, you will be experiencing the code like you didn't press that button. I hope I can make that clear. So after showing the total project of mine, I want to go a little in depth about this code. So this code has integers which are really important. Our first integer, and one of the most important, is dinostate. What is dinostate? Dinostate is the counter that increases in an amount which I declare, and it basically is responsible of holding dinosaur in air. So like in one of my interrupts, if you press the start button or my interrupt 0 button, that will make the dinosaur jump by making dinostate 10. So actually in my code, there is lots of if loops, and all of those if loops will decrease the dino state by 1. So actually 10 means your dino will be jumping by 10 frames to be exact. So the second most important, or actually this is the most important integer here, it is game state, which shows or tells which state you are or which screen you are. If your game state is 1, that means you will be in this screen. If your game state is 2, that means you will be in difficulty selection screen. And like I can show this like that. In first one, if you press that, oh, I'm sorry, by the way, this screen is game state 4. I'm sorry about that. If you press the button, and that will be present you with the fourth screen, that means after that your interrupt 0 press will be considered as difficulty selection instead of some other thing like jumping, because I am declaring game state such way that all the if loops in interrupt has that. Like by doing this, I just make my code and make my buttons to do the thing I want at the time I want. So basically, that's what it does. So there is an integer difficulty state. This only is to select difficulty. Basically, in main code, when you are choosing between difficulties, like this one, I'm now in medium or difficulty state 2, different kind of GLCD animation will play, right? As you can see. So, I mean, that mainly does that. Plus, when you press this button, it is also responsible of setting the C. So actually I sent some other variables with difficulty settings. So changing difficulty changes endings too. So this integer will be responsible for ending show ending selection too in the code. Int score is basically our score variable that shows in here, nothing much. Score multiplier is when you select hard, it becomes 3, and when you select medium, it becomes 2. And I multiply this number with score increase to show numbers which look more realistic. I mean, if that would be increasing 1 and 1 or 2 and 2 or 10 and 10 by 10, you will see it will become boring. So I multiply it with 66, so it is shown like it is increasing without any orders at first glance. So it is actually like a nice thing that I used here. All right. So there's best, and this shows best score value. That's about it. And there's MS delay and alive options. So alive basically is responsible of playing the ending melodies or dying melody, or determining if the dinosaur is alive or not. So with setting this one, you know that dinosaur is alive. So when the dinosaur game state changes to some state where the dino is either has end or either is died, you can just set it to 0 again, and before doing that you can play a sound. Like you can't play a sound in interrupt and main at the same time, so you can do that just to play some sounds for once. And just for doing that, you can I just did create an unsigned integer. MS delay is simple as it gets. It is milliseconds delay. You can just use this in such fashion with the delays here, vdelay underscore ms. I needed to use this code because if you don't use vdelay and use the ordinary delay function, you can't change what's inside it. You have to just give it a pointer. And if you just use vdelay, that means you can change this as well, basically. So what I need to talk about is autopilot. Okay, so autopilot is a tricky point that is just made before I show my present. I present my project to the teachers in my class. So in my facility, pardon. So this actually makes it looks like it has an AI behind it, but it actually does not. I have written the code in such way that it allows with a simple single integer you can make the whole game in autopilot. I will show it now. By the way, these are just for pictures, so don't be ever get stuck on those. Just move on. These are pictures. So let me show you. So these are basically for difficulty selection images only, and the difficulty selection screen is game state 4, as you can see. After selecting this, game state will become 2, and the dyno will start running. And this running will be generated with if statements. Since the compiler works by line an algorithm, I can just list all of my graphic screens. I can just list them in a linear way, and since I use a while loop, it will turn to back and it will play it again till it's done or till forever. So actually there is a little bit point here. If dino state is bigger than 0, like let's say you just press the jump button and the game state is 2, another frame you will see, and this frame actually also will decrease this dino state, so after 10 frames your dino will be landed. So I increased the score by, if I remember correctly, 1 per 3 or 4 frames. And since these 2 frames cannot be shown at the same time, I increased the frame in both of those, basically. So okay, so how would I get the denoise dead? To do that, actually you can use different algorithms, but I found an easy way. In some frames, since I went linear in terms of my if placement to make the programming easier, if the dinosaurs hit some frames that he will die, I just, instead of showing code, I just change game state by 3, which is the dead state of the game. And that autopilot thing basically only operates when you actually, if I can see that code, let me see, game state 3. Yes, if autopilot is on, it will jump in a selected position actually by me. So it is not like that I use machine learning or deep learning in this, but I use the simple logic for autopilot. And since all my buttons are interrupt, it doesn't matter wherever you press that, it will jump when the time comes. So let's see what happens if game state is 3. Or okay, let's say let's start with lap count. If lap count is bigger than some number, the game state changes with responding to difficulty state. So if you are in easy mode, it will show 5th. If you are medium, it will show 6. If you are hard, it will show 7. And I will raise the interrupt flag on these because I only can play sound in interrupt, so they have to like play sound in endings, and to do that we have to go at void interrupt. So I just checked and rewrite the score like 1 per 5 if loop or so. I mean 5 frames. And if the game state is 3, basically it will show game over. If it is 5, it will show ending pictures. If it's 6, it's same. If it's 7, it is same. So let's look at my interrupts a bit. I used actually most of my logic in my interrupt codes. Since you can see the most thing is being done with these interrupts. Actually, these interrupts set the variables which are important, and after these variables to change, you can just show some pictures in main code. My code just worked like this. So I believe that is the pretty much most of the things I can talk about this project. So thank you for listening to me, and have a nice day.